Welcome back to the last part of the video series for our QAL Spring in Paris, and we are now at the point when we straighten our centerpiece and we sew on the border. So, ta-ta, my pieced colorful hexagon balls are finished, and now I want to make that wonky oversized edge. I want to cut that to the right size. So I need, this is the largest ball and the ball closest to the border, and I need at least 1/4 of an inch seam allowance here. Also my cut has to be perpendicular to that ball. So I hold my ruler and I mark a line with a pen I can erase later, that is a friction. So also I have the same situation with at that point where I also have a ball closest to the edge, and I need to mark my point here too, and hopefully everything is okay so that this really gets a straight line. It is hard to get your quilt straight because it has now a certain size and weight. So let's try it as good as we can get it. Okay, and you see, I have an extra large ruler which I made myself. I went to the hardware store and I bought a piece of acrylic and let it cut to size. So I guess that should work. Just proof it. If it is straight, okay, it's not really straight. So see, this is the straight line and my ruler should go like that. And that means I have to move it a little bit towards this edge, that edge here. Okay. Does it work? Okay. You see, I am now a bit off my marked line, but that extra white doesn't bother me as long as I have a perpendicular border. So I mark my cutting line. Here it is a little bit too small, but that will go into the seam allowance. The same here, but we will just smooth that bit out. Okay. And marking it on the other side. So now when I have marked my line, I can trim that edge to make it straight. So about this. See, it's really necessary to have a good bit of extra room for those ends, so you can later balance everything out. This extra long self-made ruler is also a really practical tool when it comes to trim off your quilt sandwich for the binding. Okay, I'm fine with that. So now my border strip, I have this one cut a little bit longer, so we have enough fabric to balance anything out, like here and here. And I will now pin the complete border along these edges and sew it on. I really recommend to flatten everything out and to pin it. What you shouldn't do is you measure your border, trim it to the mathematical size, and then if it doesn't fit, you stretch or wave your piece center. That doesn't look good. So you make your border a little bit larger, and then you just flatten everything, and then you pin everything in place, and then go to your sewing machine and sew along, and then you are done. So that was everything about putting our quilt top together. Thank you so much for joining our Spring in Paris quilt along. I hope you had as much fun as I had. I loved that you spent time with us. And for quilting, we can recommend that you do all over pantograph quilting. There are cool long arm services out. You can do it yourself. I will link below a service I used to got my original Spring in Paris quilt done. So have fun with yours and see you next time.